Sibbi Amri, calling, and with the prayer, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an amran mutaqabbalan wa rizqan tayyib. That is the theme of DXN that I think Allah has given us through Dr. Lim. Long round of applause for Dr. Lim. All of you with our great leader, a great guru, and a leader to lead the leaders. Thank you very much for the management. Thank you very much. After Dr. Lim, Jajit, great leaders, the gurus to here. I'm nothing. I'm just a person who, with the vision of Dr. Lim, Allah, was able to save my mother's life because of DXN. The reason I'm here is because Allah has saved me, given my mother back through DXN. So thank you very much, Jazakallah khair. And I again thank the management to have again this 13th camp, which we are going to share with you. Lots of good things. Every minute we learn from the person who comes here, and when he leaves or she leaves, we have a good bunch of knowledge and information with us. My topic today is a little different. Just to update the management, I have now not 30 years, 38 years in medicine, and 26 years in IVF. I'm a gynecologist and IVF specialist, but more so, I'm dealing with life in the lab. I'm seeing cells growing, living, dying, coming up, putting them back, and in grown-up babies. So the most critical stages of life when you cannot reproduce, and when you see a baby in your hand from your own cells, the miracles of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot, it's a very heart-warming situation. So Ganoderma, spirulina, or whatever product Dr. Lim has been visionary to grant us, has got an umbrella of common subject to address to the world. One is to live a life without fear, to lose a deer, without fear to have a disease, dis-ease, and with the graceful aging process you have to go through that nobody can know your age. Right? Right? Say how old I am. Just shift 6'1" to 16. That's what I am. See, this is how these products are going to give you an anti-aging product. Now, today I've selected a very boring topic, but very important one. Because most of the time when I see the leaders and the members to talk about DXN products, they take it as a medicine. True? Yeah. They come to me, they ask me middle of the night, I've got stomach ache, can I take Moranji? I'm standing in front of an escalator, my knee is not moving, can I take some massage oil and apply it in the middle of the night? Or early morning, I've got vomiting, I've got fever, what should I take? So this is a little misconception. We are more than this. We are not selling, we are sharing the effects and maintenance of well-being, as what Professor Ratna has very well said. Be normal, be well now. Nobody has seen tomorrow. You have to live it today. And whatever you are today is what you did yesterday. You will suffer what you did wrong yesterday. Some things are out of our hand, like genetics and environment and all those things. But the things that nets us well makes life. So I'm going to talk about your initial growth. How did you grow, and what are you, and what DXN products address at which point. We talk about cellular health, and when we say cell, we mean to say cell, mobile cell. Some of the people, when you write cell in the internet, you will get the mobile industry coming up. So normally, we don't have the slightest idea how our cells are going to behave if we don't do right to them. So this is what I'm going to emphasize. So bear with me the dryness of the subject, but it is important to know, and then you can talk better. When you talk about your nature, when you talk about your cells, it would be better to talk about how you maintain that in collective manner. So the net of cells, biology is the science, but not everybody is a biologist. But you are a part of biology because you are composed of cells. When you say cells, living cells are important, dead cells are gone. When you say cell, we mean living cell. What is the background? How did we came to know about the cells? Through these microscopes, they did the magnification to an extent of, you can say, 10 plus 9. You can't even see those cells which are making you living. And you have to take care from that unit. How these compounds came into vision to the scientists, it is a long story since 1600s, and we came to know through these scientists the development of the cells, the theory, and how these cells of the plants and animals, they came into being, and what went wrong to make them diseased. I did a study on plants by putting a cancer cell in the plant, and then making a cancer in the plant, and then treating that cancer by gynoderma. So this is how I'm doing on that work also. But how did I succeed? Because I had all the media to do it, the microscope, the people, the science, the studies. That can help me to have more confidence of my product. I use that media to be more stronger, to enhance the knowledge of cellular activity and what went wrong when they were not active in that cells. So these cell theories gave you 3 simple facts, that all livings are made of cells, and cells are the basic units and are produced from existing cells. Now the life is not possible when you don't propagate. One cell will survive to some extent and go, but if you don't propagate your lifelines, like our lifelines, you know what I mean? DXN network, horizontal and vertical, we cannot propagate, we cannot be successful. Same way, a successful, beautiful, healthy life is not possible without a network of healthy cells. And that is the key of the vision of health and the wealth of it. Wealth of health. I take the best wealth as health. The second wealth will come automatically. So these are the modern microscopes that gave us the view and the basics of cells which separated the world to know the normality and abnormality. Why I am putting all these rough and tough things? Because our products, they work on these minute organelles of the cells. And my professor would agree with me, if they were not, they will not be sustained for 25 years. Only the sustaining power of these products being natural, hitting the target rightly, working on a cell before it gets sick is better than to work on a cell when it is sick. It will take more longer time, it may not work. That's why most of us don't use DXN products. That sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. So that's how we are, even now, the latest article I was studying 2 days back on Gynoderma, June 2018, in the Journal of Nutraceuticals, they have said that the epigenetics, what is genetics? Or the Mauritius, the things that you drain into the genes, something has come up as epigenetics. And what is epigenetics? If you smoke, your granddaughter, grandson has a desire to smoke. You see? Whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you eat, whatever your cells get integrated into a habitat, you transfer that into the genes. This is a very fruitful information. That is where the change of your lifestyle comes in. Like for example, there was a simple experiment done. We took a mouse, very interesting. We took a mouse and we fragrance. With the same time, we had an electric current to the foot. Now, with this experiment, the mouse was ready to put the leg out the minute the smell was coming to the nose. You see, the smell was related to the current. Got my point? Yes. Now, this mouse was married to another lady mouse. And this lady mouse gave a baby mouse. We did the experiment without letting that mouse having the experience of that smell. But we did put the smell away, and the minute we put the smell, he pushed the leg. What does this show? That this went into the gene, this reflex went into the gene of that mouse. Then we got married later again. Now the second grandson came in. We did repeated the experiment. Only the smell, he pushed the leg. 2 generations, take your habit. You see, that's what I'm trying to emphasize. This is known as epigenetics. And you can control your epigenetics with Ganoderma interfering with your DNA expression. You see the beauty of it? You understand what I'm talking? It's a little difficult. But it's the minus, the minor experience of only a smell. What to say of cancer? What to say of diabetes and blood pressure? Eczema. So you are giving this to your generations. By sitting on the computers, by sitting on your mobiles, you are transferring those information, those software technologies to 3 generations. And we should be alarmed now. It's time to change. So all these things are very important. Now these different types of cells behave differently. Some of them are alone, they are living like amoeba or bacteria. But they will die someday. If they have to maintain their integrity, they have to divide, as I told you earlier. But the other cells in the body are more complex, and they are organized, and they have a beautiful network inside. Just like a factory, I was giving an example that these factories, when they run in harmony, they are healthy. When they are imbalanced, when they are intoxicated, when they are bombarded with the traumatization effects of environment, drugs, psychology, genes, attitudes, thinking nature, and reactions to others. Relationship matters. The relationship between 2 aliens, the relationship between 2 movements, the relationship between 2 cell types, they can change and become a 3rd cell type. Only a reaction can change the whole cycle of a cell. So that's what is happening. The control code is having an instructions. The minute a baby is born, his already code is there, you know that. Only you have to modify the execution of command. Like for example, my mother had cancer. So I have a gene, I can develop cancer, true? Yes. Right? Yes. So why should I should not be victimized. Have you seen a wheel of a cycle or a tanker or a bicycle with chain that, that wheel moves? Yeah. It has to come into the right place. That chain moves the wheel, right? Something similar to this is a receptor in the body. Until this receptor has got a lock, the execution of command will not happen. It's very difficult to understand. But there is a groove, like a pana, and the screwdriver. The screwdriver has 4 ends. Only the 4 ends one will stick in, right? Simple. So until I have a screwdriver, this mark is worthless. Got it? Now the mark of 4 is in me, is a gene of cancer. Until I put in this screw with 4 heads, it's not going to revolve. Got it? So I have to prevent co-carcinogens to fix into that receptor to make a cancer. It's very difficult, I know. But I think you can understand. You understood? Yes. So this is what I'm doing with Gynaecologist. I'm making this screw as a 2 or 1 rather than to make 4 and to fit in to make a cancer. Yes. So what does Ganoderma, spirulina, and cordyceps do? They change the execution of the command of any cell to propagate. And that's how they prevent diseases. You understand now?
Yes.
Please say I do. I am struggling. Okay. Okay. So these are the instruction modules why we are different from each other.
Yes.
We have the same nose, but my nose is better because I breathe from the whole big nostril. Your nose may be beautiful, may be blocked inside. Right? My eyes beautiful, I don't wear glasses. You have beautiful eyes, but you have glasses. So all the same, but their execution of command is different. The execution of your nature is different. The execution of your influx of stimulation is different. It's a difficult word, but it's very simple to understand that once an animal cell divides into two, the little products inside, they help, the channels they help to make this nucleus grow. When the nucleus grows, nice another cell can be built up. When the nucleus doesn't grow properly, you have a sick cell. And the sick cell doesn't survive much. So that's why we help you to understand what is the cell, what is the skeleton, what is the network inside the cell. One cell is making a nerve, the other cell is making a secretion coming your saliva coming out of your mouth, the other cell is making lacrimal glands, all have different functions. But the base is the same, nucleus, and the pathway to provide nutrition to the nucleus. So this is how these cells work. So the same old story, molecules turning to cells, making tissues, organs and organ systems. So we have to correct this to make and have a healthy body. So this is how we came into being, and this is how the cell works. You see closely here, this is our management, sitting Dubai management, okay, or maybe Malaysia management. You see how they control remotely, and this is the packaging going on, our cellular packaging, and some of the things which are being used in the functions, some of the energies, and some of the waste materials to come out. So this is a cell. This is the whole unit which has to be affected by outside areas. Now where does our product come in? Spirulina. It makes the structure of all these proteins. You have good spirulina in your blood, you have good quality organelles. If you have good quality nucleic acid and the content of DNA is safe, you can fight back with any disease and you can grow in a healthy individual even if you are not born. I'm talking about pregnant women. If you give spirulina to a pregnant woman, the construction of new cells are better. And above all, micronutrition needed to grow these cells, to make the food for the inner cell mass is important, and you cannot define what you need. Everybody is eating the same. We have 5 people in the house, they are taking the same breakfast. Pregnant lady is the same breakfast, old man is having the same breakfast. So what is the difference? The difference is the requirement, the need of age, the need of individualization. And you need not go into the worry of scientific details. Just have simple free MRS with you. MRS, Moranzi Rishi Spirulina, on the table. MRS is the key for the cellular function. Okay? So how do we process? How do we have the organization information? All cells, they work in integrity, as what Jijit said. You need to be organized, you need to lead. And you need to lead a cell to have a healthy life. It has to have information, it has to have recognition, and it has to have an energy source. When you have an energy source, then only you can survive. And the best energy source to give you energy is carbohydrate, to give you infrastructure, strength is protein, micronutrition, and little bit of fat training, and then the minerals. All these things collectively is a super food you can have in spirulina, in moranzi, in roseate, vitamin C. The best content of vitamin C is in roseate. Best content. I give you an example. Recently, all over Gulf, all over the world, we had a influenza A virus. It must be in India also. In Pakistan also, everybody was sick. Everybody was sick. And I did an experiment knowing the content of Morenzi and Roselle. I'm prepared for every child, everybody who was sick. 1 liter bottle of safe water, alkaline water preferably, and about 6 tablespoons of Morenzi and 4 tablespoons of Roselle. A combination of enzymes plus vitamins. In 3 days' time, the temperature came down, the cough came down without any antiviral drugs. So you can imagine how much spirulina, Morenzi, Roselle have antiviral properties to fight back, and the resistance given by the body in terms of micronutrition is going to lessen the time period for your disease. So this is what the recently they have done. Now, organization of the information, all living cells, they are born and they die and they have organized decomposition state. The death is not disorganization only. It is a lack of nutrition. It is the malnutrition. Nutrition can be in 2 forms. You don't get it. Either you get it wrong or you don't get it. Both are labeled as malnutrition. But the need and energy source, you should not worry now, being in DXN. The source is DXN that can give you an organized system. And once this, what doctor was telling very rightly, a balance, a homeostasis, where your blood pressure, your sugar, your skin, your gut, your kidney, and your all the systems of the body are working in harmony, and they don't create a disease. If this homeostasis is gone, you are either sick or you're dead. What do? You look before you lose it. This is the time to change. You come here to make over. Change your life from today, because from tomorrow you don't know whether you will be there or not. So change is today, this very minute. It depends on how you were given, the genetics, as I told you, the curve of that vehicle, the central control, the mindset, psychological plus pathological, diet and lifestyle, and above all, how do you respond? What's the defense you have in your body? So before I proceed, I will let you see one single cell, how it has made you. A cell, how it made you into a human being. Can I have the first short video? It's a miracle of man's creation. All about cells. Huh? Can you have the lights off? Yeah.
The sperm is in fact a cell, the function of which is to convey the genetic data of the male to the egg cell in the woman's body. When it is examined closely, sperm looks just like a machine specially designed to carry this load. The front of the sperm is covered with armor. There is another layer of armor under the first, and under this second layer lies the cargo carried by the sperm. In this cargo are 23 chromosomes belonging to the male. All the information concerning the human body, right down to the finest detail, is carried inside the chromosomes. In order for a new human being to emerge, the 23 chromosomes in the sperm have to unite with the 23 chromosomes inside the mother's egg cell. In this way, the first foundations of a person's 46 chromosomes will be laid. The armor system at the head of the sperm will protect this valuable cargo from all danger right through its journey. But the design in sperm is not limited to this. There is a very powerful engine in the middle of the sperm. The end of the engine is connected to the tail of the sperm. The power produced by the engine turns the tail like a propeller and enables the sperm to move swiftly. Since there is an engine in the middle, it will need fuel to make it work. This need has been thought of, and the most productive fuel for the engine, fructose, has been placed in the liquid surrounding the sperm. way, the fuel for the engine is provided throughout the length of the journey it will undertake. Thanks to this perfect design, the sperms head rapidly straight for the egg cell. When the length of the sperm and the distance traveled are considered, it emerges that this is relatively as fast as a speedboat. The production of these miraculous engines is carried out in a most expert manner. Inside each of the testicles, the sperm production centers, there are microscopic tubes of a total distance of around 500 meters long. The production inside these tiny tubes works just like the conveyor belt assembly system inside a modern factory. The sperm's armor, engine, and tail parts are assembled onto one another in turn. What emerges as a result is a real wonder of engineering. We have to think a little in the face of this reality. How do these unconscious cells know how to prepare the sperms in the appropriate form, despite the fact that they know nothing about the mother's body? How have they learned to make the armor, engine, and tail that the sperm will need in the mother's body? With what intelligence do they assemble these components in the correct order? How do they know that the sperm will need fructose? How have they learned to build an engine that runs on fructose? There is but one answer to all of these questions. The sperms and the seminal fluid that they are placed in were specifically created by God for the continuation of the human race.
Gelmiş olması gerekiyor. Halbuki şöyle bir düşünürseniz, sperma hücreleri baba organizmasında yapılmaktadır. Görevleri ise anne organizmasında husule gelmektedir. Ve dünya kurulalı beri, yani insanlık aleminin tarihinde hiçbir sperma yaptığı görevden sonra, anne organizmasındaki görevinden sonra baba organizmasına tekrar dönüp kendisini yapan hücrelere neler yaptığını, hangi güçlüklerle karşılaştığını, görevinin ne olduğunu söylemek imkanına sahip değildir. Bazen nasıl oluyor da sperma hücresi, organizmada mevcut binlerce çeşit hücreden çok ayrı bir yapıya sahiptir. Sperma hücresi nereden babadan aldığı genetik yükü ileride hayat vereceği bir organizmaya götüreceğini biliyor ki başında, önünde bir zırh taşımaktadır. Sperma hücresi ileride bir hücrenin zarını delmek gerekeceğini nereden biliyor ki zırhın arkasına yerleştirilmiş bir takım kimyasal silahları birlikte görüyor. İşte bütün bu Allah'ın
creation. In fact, God draws special attention in the Quran to the creation of the seminal fluid in which the sperms exist. It is we who have created you. Why then do you not accept the truth? Have you ever considered that seed which you emit? Is it you who created, or are we the creator?
See, this is how you were born. This is a miracle of creation. A single cell, without a brain and eyes, goes and attacks an egg and makes you a human being. What my concern is, when the systems of the body, they work in harmony, then only a life is possible. So life integration with nutrition, with the background information, and the propagation of general health is going to give you through systems. Now what are the systems that we are taking care with our products? Just to remind you, that all the network in your body has got different names. One is the circulatory system, which is dependent because you are breathing. You need your oxygen to be carried to a different cell through a system which is known as circulatory system, which transports all the oxygen, all the bad things to come back to kidney and get them washed. Now where does our products come in? 4 products, especially cordyceps, Gynaecologist, and Morenzi. They work on the circulatory system. The cordyceps works on the circulatory system. The cardiologist here is going to agree with me because we want to keep cardiologists away with the RGGL a day. Right, doctor? So what the circulatory system is going to cry if you don't take RGGL every day. These circulations are your life. These systems are your life. So you take care of this system one by one. Know your system, guard your system, and live a long and healthy life. This is my intention of telling you today. The cell level is important. Whenever you talk to somebody, may it not be a scientist, a normal person, life is there. You want to tell them how important his life is. And that to be taken care in different systems. So people say, if I take Gynaecologist, I don't need to take spirulina. What should I take Morenzi? Then they have to define what products are working on which system more aggressively. Gynaecologist works on all because it takes care of your genetics, it takes care of your immunity, it takes care of oxidation, antioxidant, blah, blah, blah, lots of things I can go on take 5 days here. But on individual systems of cells where they have a definite target to go, we need to know which product is working where. So cordyceps, Morenzi, and Gynaecologist, they work more on oxygen transport, on the cellular level. So we have to be happy to have all these products which are taking care of our circulatory system. Without a cardiologist in hand, your cardiologist is your Rishi and your cordyceps, and the micronutrition being spirulina. So this is what it takes care of all the cell circulation, and whatever you have to take it out. What goes in, it has to come out after disintegration and becoming a toxic substance to make you sick. All these toxic substances, if your kidneys are not working, and if your digestive system is not working, it gets accumulated. And once it gets accumulated, the toxins, disbalances, your reactions, your habits will cultivate and make you a patient, and we don't want that. Another system is your stomach. What we say, you have a good stomach, you don't have a disease. 99% of the diseases, they come through your stomach. You eat bad, you digest bad, and then you use bad. You don't use all those calories, it keeps on accumulating as a bad quality cholesterol. So whatever it is, the product which we have to take care of your digestive system is Morinda citrifolia and Rishi as the king, being there in all the states. Morinda citrifolia, how does it take care? Somebody was telling yesterday, and I was trying to jump up on my seat that I want to tell, because noni juice is not noni. It's none to none, meaning it takes care of cell sodium, potassium, entry and exit. It takes care of your acidity. It is better than scopolamine. People say it is more antispasmodic. They compare it with morphine. The effect, centrally affecting for painkillers, effect on your non-skeletal muscle pain. So if it is dysmenorrhea, pain of the period, if it is a stomach pain, or if it is a kidney pain, Morenzi is very effective. Not as a treatment only, as a prevention and dilatation of the calluses. It gives you way to excrete your imbalanced minerals also. Above all, noni has all the enzymes which can prevent addiction for nicotine. Like what receptor I was telling you, the nicotine, when it heads up into a receptor, then you have a withdrawal effect. But if you don't have that nicotine space there, you will not have a withdrawal effect. If you want to quit smoking or addiction, keep a bottle every day like Laszlo. Drink every day. You can get rid of addiction. This is something which is science has told us. It's not the Gynaecologist or Dr. Lim has told it. It is the, Professor Neil Solomon, you must have heard about him. 5 books he has written on noni. He says that if a fridge has got got noni in the fridge, anybody, no need to go to a doctor. The Australian best beautician, she is drinking noni since the age of 12 years because she wants to be beautiful. So you can see the metabolic stability, the beauty which, as Gynaecologist says, coming from the skin as a predictor. That can be a predictor too. If you drink Moranzi, you can balance your thyroid, you can balance your adrenals, you can balance your all the enzymes, and also you can balance your catecholamines coming and the serotonin and the all the amino acid configuration. So whatever you know is less because every day there is new knowledge is coming. So it gives you a pleasure of knowing DXN as a university. DXN is a university to teach you as what you are. See, I give a lecture on IVF, I charge $4,000. How much you pay me this lecture? I take $4,000 to teach about IVF. So how much you gave me for this lecture?
Maybe more.
You know what I get? I get the blessings and the prayer from all of you, which are more than $4,000. So this is the beauty of it. So this is my field. I try to reproduce, Bismillah, for the people who cannot get pregnant naturally. I've got Dr. Ratna was sharing that the very senior person getting pregnant. I have more than 6,000 people who came to me for pregnancy for IVF, and 80% of them they became on the way they got pregnant. And I got 3 show cause notices from my bosses that you lost this much of clientele. You know, one patient gives you 15 to 20,000 dirham for normal IVF. For PGS, 45,000 dirham. And somebody gets naturally pregnant, I lose my job. So that's why I got 3 show cause notices.
That is why you are.
That is why I am in DXN. Power. That is why I am in DXN, because I don't want to do a job anymore. So this is the beauty of it. Yeah, please, you cannot, sir. I need 2-3 groups to lift me. So whatever the continuation, now how I see these products for reproductive health. All of you must have come across somebody. The speed with cancer and infertility is propagating now, you cannot understand. Every day I see a girl who is under 30 and doesn't have eggs. I see a man just married, never had checked himself, no sperms. They are so speedily coming up. Cancer, you cannot treat. Sometimes you can prevent, depending upon the stage. But these things, how can you treat? If you don't have eggs, no sperms, how can you reproduce? No, but if you have stem cells, if you have the stem cells, you have the basics which are not working, lazy cells, you make them active. You make them active by cordyceps. You make them active by spirulina. You make them active by Gynaecologist. You make them active by Moranzi. Sometimes I give a combination of potency which is there in Pakistan to both meniscus. So all these things you need to know the product. If you know the product, you don't want to be a doctor. You just help the people so that they can try 3 to 6 months. But please, please, please, if the AMH value, which is the hormone which checks, it's like a bank statement of your ovaries. It tells you that less number of eggs, don't waste the time on natural things. You just side by side give them a support of making them pregnant as soon as possible. For example, if somebody doesn't have the sperm, we do the hormone test. There is any production failure or is a transport failure. If it is a transport failure, no worry. We put a needle in the epididymis, we get the sperm, get the egg from the mom, join them together, make the baby, put them back in the uterus. This is ICSI. And also we check the genes. All these things are integrated and only help when those are too normal. If the egg is normal and the sperm is normal. And what makes them normal? Genes and food. Genes and food. What makes you normal is your genes and food. Lifestyle damages. Food cannot damage if you are taking it nicely. So the food which you need is the spirulina for those people who are are fertile, trying to get pregnant, or trying to get a healthy baby out. Meaning there are people who cannot, they have no difficulty to get pregnant, but there is no take-home baby. I have a woman who lost 18 pregnancies, none alive. Either they die in utero, in the uterus, or they deliver and they die. So you need to look out for the reason. And if while passing through a medical turmoil, you take care of their stress level. This kills. You know, a woman who loses a pregnancy, or a woman who loses a husband because she cannot conceive, in spite of the fact that the man has the problem. He will go and marry 4 times. Right, Dr. Hassan? That's the beauty of Islam. You want to marry 4 times. That's the only thing they take from Islam. You marry 4 times, right? I got a couple. I'd share you with this so that you wake you up to go more. One man came into the office with 4 abaya at the back. One abaya little taller, the youngest abaya little thinner, and banged on the reception. I want test tube baby in all my 4 wives. He thought it's a Carrefour, you know, or a Lulu market to get something and put it there. My receptionist was shaking. She said, Baba, this is not possible. He is a feudal lord from Balochistan. With 4 Pajero in front and 4 Pajero at the back. We were scared. We said, no, he's going to hit us. Then I called the chancellor of the university. I said, something is happening. This man wants 4 babies and 4 wives and we don't have it. It must be the problem in the mail. We put them inside. No, I'm a Muslim. I'm good masawat. You know, the equal relation with all. So I want 4 babies in right moment in my 4 wives. When I pick up one abaya, one lady was 60, the other was 35, 28, the youngest was 18. And I said, okay, sir, I need to check you. Why? I've got beard, I've got myself. I'm 67, but I'm good. I can produce 100 babies. I said, okay. I have to explain how to give the semen sample. Poor man, after about hours struggle, he gives the sample, no sperm. No sperm. Now where to keep, what to do? I said, you have to go through a surgery. We need to check whether you have any production or not. He was so ashamed, he said, he put the wives away. He came next day, and we did the biopsy, and we got his sperm. And we did biopsy, ICSI, that is a test tube baby, on all 4. 2 of them got pregnant. So you can imagine how difficult it is for some time a single man or a single woman to burn the this infertility process, which is very, very expensive also. Now, if he would have known, if he would have had the information, how to check, how to go where, at least he could have come to DXN to have some modern spirulina to get the hold of it. So my concern is, whatever category you belong, you are a housewife, you are a businessman, you are a doctor, or you are a salesperson, or you are a marketeer, you are a human being. Give your helping hand to everyone. And this help is going to achieve a lot of success for you also. Because I get lots of prayers. And Allah saves me from so many turmoils. My plane was in a turmoil and the engine failed last week. The engine failed and I said, La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah, time up. And suddenly I closed my eyes. There was a man who gave me one whole Quran when I was doing his surgery for his son to cut his legs, gangrenous. And I said, no, one more trial of Ganoderma toothpaste, then I will cut the leg. After 3 weeks, I postponed, and there was no amputation. This man, in my life, gave one Holy Quran, which we give after death. And he came on just suddenly he came as a flash. I said, Alhamdulillah, before I go, I have a Quran with me, so that I can save myself. You know? After about 5 seconds, the plane was okay. And I said, Alhamdulillah, Summa Alhamdulillah, these prayers, they save you. They save you. And I believe in that because so many times you cannot give anything. You can't give money to a person. You can't give treatment to a person. Even you can't buy Ganoderma to a person. But at least one time advice, selfless advice, that please try it. And then your job is done. So my theme of life is a little different. So this is why I feel that is also an exam for me all the time. Any person is an exam for me. And that exam starts as a treatment with Mrs. C. Mrs. Cordyceps, Moranzi, Ischia, and Spirulina. So this is the skeletal system where our products are working where? The joints, arthritis. As you know, scleroderma, anti-inflammatory, you know that?
Yes.
An autoimmune disorder, all the autoimmune disorders, sometimes they do leak the joint. They do hit the joint. Age is another story. So if you have your joints stabilization, you will not be crippled. And when you are aging, you don't need a stick in your hand if you have scleroderma in your hand. So that's how all your systems get affected, even in muscular system, your nervous system, your skin. Now the skin is coming into, more pronounced because word is now what you are, what you look. What it sees is going to grow more. But what you don't see in the heart, sometimes it takes time to see. Anyways, these organs, they have a typical network for immunity, for respiration, and if there is no net, there is no life. All these networks are above the network even of the direct cells. If this network of life is there, you don't end up like this. It is still life, surviving, but not living. I don't want this as a life. So I don't want anybody of us to end like that. We have to grow old, maybe 256-year-old. That man who wrote the book, the first book written on scleroderma is by that man, 256. That's a report that is written, yeah. So I want you to understand that life is not only being happy and being there. It has more to it. It's a mindset you have to change. It's a life you have to change, not of you. Otherwise, you and animal are the same. You are here, not for you. What I say in Urdu, that dil ke waaste paida kiya insaan ko. For the pain in the heart, the human beings are created for others. Varna taaj ke liye kuch kam na the kar ro bayavar. Because just for ibadah, just for prayers, Allah had the angels. He gave human being to help the human being. Okay, so life is not what you are seeing now. What is happening behind is the life, which is more important. There's a small clip which is about the risk factors. What are the prioritization of the risk for your life? People thought it was heart, people thought it was cancer, but this lady has come up with a new story. It's only a 3-minute video, and I will compile my talk. Please. Just listen to it. It's very, very
So what does it take to lift your 100 or beyond? As you will see, the answer is not what we expect. Julianne Holt-Lunstead is a researcher at Brigham Young University, and she addressed this very question in a series of studies of tens of thousands of middle-aged people, and she looked at every aspect of their lifestyle, their diet, their exercise, their marital status, how often they went to the doctor, whether they smoked or drank, etc. She recorded all of this, and then she and her colleagues sat tight and waited for 7 years to see who would still be breathing. And of the people left standing, what reduced their chances of dying the most? That was her question. So let's now look at her data in summary, going from the least powerful predictor to the strongest. Whether you're lean or overweight, you can stop feeling guilty about this because it's only in 3rd place. How much exercise you get is next, still only a moderate predictor. Did anybody here know that having a flu vaccine protects you more than doing exercise? And getting towards the top predictors are 2 features of your social life. First, your close relationships. These are the people that you can call on for a loan if you need money suddenly, who will call the doctor if you're not feeling well, or who will take you to the hospital, or who will sit with you if you're having an existential crisis, if you're in despair. Those people, that little clutch of people, are a strong predictor, if you have them, of how long you'll live. And then something that surprised me, something that's called social integration. This means how much you interact with people as you move through your day. How many people do you talk to? And these mean both your weak and your strong bonds. So not just the people you're really close to who mean a lot to you, but like, do you talk to the guy who every day makes you your coffee? Do you talk to the postman? Do you talk to the woman who walks by your house every day with her dog? Do you play bridge or poker or have a book club? Those interactions are one of the strongest predictors of how long you live.
See this? This is what DXN gives you free of cost. The interaction. The young predictor of a long life. Leave apart medicine. The long predictor of your healthy and long life is your relationship. The network you without a business at the back. If you are socializing with the theme in your heart that you are helping, you are increasing your life. You are increasing your integrity. You are increasing your respect and regard, not only here, up there. So I think this is a beautiful network that has given you a beautiful platform, a hand of health, a hand of happiness, a hand of socialization, and when you go, everybody is there to pray for you. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very